Hi, my name is Linda Nyer. I'm the Health Sciences librarian here at Bloomsburg University. The purpose of these two short videos is to orient you to the library's resources and services. One of the resources that you have is access to research librarians. I am the liaison or the librarian for the nursing department as well as for some of the other health science and science departments. I have my undergrad degree in occupational therapy and I worked as an OT for a few years before becoming a librarian. I've been here at BU for 14 years and I really enjoy working with students, so please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any library related, information research related questions. I'm more than happy to work with you. The best way to reach me is by email. As you can see here, I am in your Bolt course. Dr. Jackson has added me, so you can reach me through the class list, and you can also reach me through the course guide that I've prepared for you. If you take a look in your table of contents in Bolt, you will notice under week 3 there is a link here for the library research guide that I've prepared for you guys. So if you open that, that will take you to the library's course guide for this class. I do want to point out you can get to this in other ways. If you happen to come in through Bloomsburg University webpage, you can get to the library easily by going to Current Students, going to Andrus Library, and then under Research Guides on the left, go to Course Guides, and the Doctor of Nursing Practice Guide is there too. Now, to contact me, you'd use the Help tab here. And if you mouse over email me, you can see my email address, lnyer@bloomu.edu, and that is the easiest way to reach me. I have not put that information up yet on the guide, but I will shortly. I am available for consultations via Zoom also. I've worked with students on Zoom. So if you need to have like a virtual research assistant appointment, we can do that. So let me go back to the beginning of the guide here. I wanted to briefly go over a few items here on the guide, point some things out to you, and how you can actually use this guide. For starters, you guys are off campus, so you do need to pay attention to logging in. Notice the off-campus access link up here. If you click on that, that's going to take you to a page which explains where you log in, how you log in, what it looks like, who to contact, and so on. And there's some other information here as well. So if you are accessing this guide, however, through Bolt, you will note that when you log into Bolt, the login information for Bolt will be saved in your browser so that whenever you try to go to one of the resources under, say, Finding Articles, you will be prompted again to log in. However, and that login is what will appear. It'll look somewhat like this, the Husky single sign-on. Actually, I'm sorry, let me go back here, off-campus access. It's actually going to look like this when you try to access the library's databases. No worries, once you've logged into Bolt, all you need to do if you're prompted with this is to just click on the Husky and the browser will pass through your login information and you'll be able to access our resources. So going back here to Finding Articles and Finding Books, most of our stuff on these two pages are electronic. They are subscription, which means the library pays money for them, and vendors do require us to have people log in to use them. They are protecting their content. So just wanted to mention that about the issue for logging in. Okay. Going back to the start of the guide here, the Topic Development tab here is a resource you might want to take a look at. This first one is a toolkit from the ANA. You're probably not going to use it right now, but it has some really helpful pages like on asking a question, right? How do you acquire information? How do you appraise the evidence? And so on. So down the road, you're probably going to want to explore that a little bit more. I find working with students that focusing and refining the topic is always a challenge for most of us. So these are just some sources here, some journals that you might try browsing for topics. This is not all of our journals, but it's a goodly number of them. So say, for instance, you're interested in exploring that journal, you could use this link here from 1999 up to the present to explore. Or if you wanted to see what other journals there were available for nursing, you could select this category and just browse like a complete list of all of our nursing journals. So this, the looks of this is going to change a little bit at the end of the summer, but the function will remain the same. Let me back up here. Some other links for getting started. Google Scholar, I recommend. This is very helpful, especially at the start when you're refining your search strategy. I do want to point out with Google, when you're using Google Scholar, you will be prompted, you will actually, if you're on campus, Google recognizes that and provides links for full text at BU or PDFs. If you are off campus, you are not going to see those links until you enable library links in Google Scholar. And the way to do that is to go to the menu, go to Settings, Library Links, search for Bloomsburg. These links will come up, select them, and then save them. All right, so just make sure you do that if you're using Google Scholar off campus, and you'll get access to our resources. Let me back out of there. Okay, we also have a good number of ebooks, and I've put up a couple here for DNP program proposal writing for DNP projects. So these are some ebooks that you can explore. I will also point out with the ebooks that we have two separate platforms. This is the EBSCOhost platform. And the other one is the ebook central, works very similarly. So you get a table of contents on the left-hand side wherever you see an arrow. You can expand that to actually jump ahead to a certain section. You may print pages here. This will create a PDF, either do the entire section or chapter to print a PDF, or print it out if you like. And so ebooks can be really a fabulous a resource for you. All right, moving on. Searching tips. Just remember that when you are searching, you do have to boil down your search to the noun and noun phrases. You can't type in a complete sentence like you can in Google. And this page here explains how you can do that. So if you are using the library databases, use these three words and, or, and not in a very special way. And actually so do search engines like Google. You may not be aware of it. Google actually tends to assume the and operator between every word that you type in. But the more terms you type in using and, the fewer the results you're going to get, because the search engine or database is looking for all of those terms, or both of those terms if you're using just two. If you use an or in between your terms, that's actually going to increase the number of terms you use, or with synonyms, and you increase the number of results. Not is when you want to exclude a concept or a term if you're getting too much irrelevant stuff. Example I use is if I'm looking for steroids for therapeutic purposes, but I'm getting a lot of stuff on doping in sports, I might just type in steroids, not doping, and that would eliminate some of those. Another strategy to consider when you're using databases is make sure you're taking advantage of the filters effectively. And some of the databases, this is a screenshot of CINAHL right here. You will, on the first page before you actually type in your terms, you get a list of all of the limiters that you can use. But in most databases, you apply the limiters to the results after you've done your search, and that's true of PubMed. And in CINAHL, in fact, you can go back and apply more limiters. In CINAHL and Medline, under the date slider bar, you can make all of these limiters here display by clicking on Show More. The current search will always tell you, usually on the left-hand side of your search, which limiters you have applied. So if you change your mind, you can usually just delete those. A third tip to keep in mind is to use subject headings. What do I mean by that? Well, subject headings are assigned terms that a human being actually assigned to an article. Think of them as tags. That is sort of your insurance that the article is actually about that. Most of us use keyword searching, not subject searching, at least when we're doing preliminary searching, and that's fine. Keywords, however, search any word anywhere in the abstract, in the title, in the journal title, and sometimes even in the full text of the article. So you might get more results that way with keyword searching, but you also get more irrelevant stuff. So subject headings just help you focus your term. And you can see how that would be pretty important in medicine. Because, for example, with the various cardiac disease and conditions, it's important to be specific and make sure that you're actually searching for what you want. So these are just some of the strategies. Use the and or not operator, sometimes called Boolean searching, effectively. Use filters, which is the strength of databases. Search engines like Google Scholar don't really have many filters other than date. And make sure you try to focus on subject headings. Okay, there is a library search box at the bottom of this page as well, and some other resources you may want to check out. Excuse me. Moving along, finding books. Again, this is just the same thing as the BU Books and More search that you're going to find on the large search box on the library webpage and on some of these pages. And you can simply search in here again for your terms, and the database is assuming the and in between. I could put an and in between quality improvement and nursing, and I believe I'll get the same results. Yes, I did. Okay. So here are my limiters on this side. If I'm off campus and I just want to see what ebooks we have, then I can just limit to full text online. The other limiter for nursing medicine, it's important to consider the date. Do you want to go back to 1986, or do you only maybe want to go back 5 years or possibly 10 years? I'm going to go back 10 years in this case here. And so I have a list of books. I can click on the title to view more information about the book. I have a number of tools up here, including a citation tool that will format the citation for me in whatever style I want, like APA. I can view the book by using the link to get to the collection. Okay, this is the other collection that we have, the eBook Central. And for ebooks, whether they're EBSCO or ProQuest, you do want to read them online. I do not recommend downloading the full book. The problem with downloading is that you're going to prevent someone else from using it, but more importantly, you're going to be limited to the device that you downloaded that book to. However, if you choose to read online, you're going to have more flexibility, and you'll be able to download a PDF of an entire chapter or whatever. You can download that, send it to yourself later. The ebooks also have citations. You might want to check out a number of these tools. If you sign in with your library credentials, your single sign-on, you'll be able to save some of your annotations and save the books in there too, the citations for the books in there, and come back to them later. So there's a lot of really helpful tools. So I'm going to go back here. I've put a couple of books over here off to the right for you to search. If you know the title of a book, you can just type that in there as well. Put quotation marks around it, and that will normally come up. Finding articles is another link. I'm going to spend more time on that in a little bit. Evidence-based pyramid, you're going to want to come back to this when you are reading your articles and evaluating the quality of the evidence. Getting full text, I'll cover that again a little bit later. And writing and citing, this has APA information. So this concludes just the introduction to the guide, and we'll pick up again with video number 2.